What's going on, guys? Rogue TCG here bringing you another Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG deck profile. This is going to be a branded Predaplant, more leaning on the Predaplants than on the branded. This is an old deck with a little bit of a couple revamps in here from just new cards that have been released from a little bit ago when Predaplants got all the hype. This is just kind of like a little fun rogue deck, not necessarily super competitive, but I do very much enjoy this deck and I do want to show it off. So that's enough yapping. Time to get to the deck. Leave these to the side. Alrighty. Here's the main deck. We're playing one Aluber, Gesture of Despia as one of our Despia targets, as well as a Guiding Quem, the Virtuous, for the second Despia target for branded opening. Branded opening we are maxed out on because we do want to see it and open it as much as possible because we really don't want to be normal summoning either of these because this deck is a little bit hard on its normal summon, but that's fine. Next, we do have two Fallen of Albaz. We don't necessarily want to draw one in case we get the branded fusion, so we're running two. And this is the monsters for the branded portion of the deck. Now onto the Predaplants. We have a triple Predaplant Camilla Sundew. Monsters with predator counters on them that use as fusion materials are treated as dark. During your main phase, you can fusion summon a dark fusion from your extra deck using this card on the field and monsters from your hand field and monsters on the field with a predator counter your opponents control as fusion materials. So this is poly, and if they have predator counters on them, which they will, it is a super poly. This is our main normal summon of the deck. We do want to be fusing it using this effect. But I can see adding the Edge Imp package in order to try and cut down on these copies, but I do like this card a lot because I do like super poling. That's the entire point of the deck, is super poling with your opponent's stuff. We have triple Predaplant Triantis. This card is a pendulum. When it's in scale, you can fusion summon a dark fusion from your using cards from your pen zones as well as field as material. Or rather, if you fusion summon, you're allowed to use your pen zones as material, which is very useful. And if this is sent to the extra deck, you can put a predator counter up to the number of monsters you control onto your opponent's monsters. So if you have 4 monsters, you can put 4 predator counters amongst your opponent's monsters, which is just absurd, like insane. And it's a pendulum summon, so we can occasionally pen summon. We have a triple of the alternate pen scale, Predaplant Bufalica. Sorry for that pronunciation. During your main phase, you can fusion summon. This is the fusion summon one, using cards from your hand and field as material, and it has a fusion summon a dark fusion, so now Albion to this. And if it's sent to the graveyard or added to your extra deck, you can add a face-up dark pendulum monster from your extra deck to your hand except itself. So a full combo in this deck is opening these two, and you scale them both, and you use this to fuse them both. You get to put a predator on counter on something because you have one monster on field being the fusion summon monster, and then you get to immediately add Triantis back to your hand. So that is the basic combo with those cards, and that will bring you to all your main plays once we get to our extra deck. We are running double Bislip. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can add a Predaplant monster from your deck to your hand except for itself. Add a monster with a predator counters on the board. You can special summon this from your grave, but banishment leaves the field, so it's just extra bodies. We're not really using that graveyard effect too frequently, but whenever this is sent to the graveyard, either via branded fusion or off of a pitch for branded opening, very, very powerful. We are running one Predaplant Drysophyllum Hydra. This is a kaiju from your hand or the graveyard by attributing an opponent's monster that they control with a predator counter. So we are running an archetype kaiju that is semi-searchable via sending it to the graveyard or opening it. It is also a funky little battle trap by banishing Predaplants from your grave to lower the attack of a monster. Alrighty, we have one Darlingtonian Cobra. This is part of the main combo to enable the branded fusion line via just the Predaplants, so we do need to run one, and this is a Garnet. We are running one Orphis Scorpio. This is just another starter if we do happen to open specific cards, but we do want to see it infrequently, but not infrequently enough where we're not running it. Our honorary, and lastly, our honorary Predaplant, Stay Sailor Romarine. This is a light. That means we can send it off of branded fusion. The on-field effect is pretty irrelevant. It's a level 4 light plant tuner. This is a plant for some reason. A quick effect, target a face-up monster you control. Send one other plant monster you control to the grave. If you do, the next time that monster will be destroyed by battle or card effect this turn. It is not. And if this is sent to the graveyard by a card effect, you can send a level 5 or lower plant from your deck or extra deck to the graveyard. So functionally, this lets you make Albion with Branded Fusion using Romarine and then immediately making a Mirror Jade without having to use the discard, but getting the dark effect because you're sending the buy slip to search anyway. So functionally, Branded Fusion says search for a Predaplant, make a Mirror Jade. So we are running it, and the on-field effect isn't completely useless, but it's pretty much useless. Now on to our hand traps. I was able to jam 5 hand traps in here, even though the deck list is very packed. We are running double Nibiru and triple Ash. There are going to be more hand traps in the sideboard, but that is a personalized board that I have made. And that's it for the monsters in the deck. Now on to our spells. Let's start off with our branded spells. We are running a triple branded opening, as well as triple branded fusion, in order to get all of our branded plays online and not have to be so reliant on the Predaplant portion of our deck. There is an argument to cut the branded opening to 2. However, I do not want to listen to that at this moment. We are running 1 branded in red. This is to target an Albaz, an Aluber, or the Quem in our graveyard in order to make something on our opponent's turns. However, this can very easily be swapped out for another card. We are running Branded Lost, again another card that can easily be swapped out for another card, but functionally this turns a lot of our fusion effects into super polys. Because it makes it so our opponent can't negate the activation of cards that would fusion summon a monster, which is some of the times, but not all the time. However, they can't activate effects in response to a monster's fusion summon. It is amazing for this deck because it prevents them from interacting with your Predaplant fusion. That's it for our branded spells. Now onto our Predaplants. We are running double Predap Practice. This special summons a Predaplant from your hand to the board, and then you can add a Predap card from your deck to your hand, except for itself, and then for the rest of the turn, you can't special except for fusions. There's a lot of good Predap cards, including all the monsters and spells and traps, so this has great utility. We're running 2 of this because this is searchable via the fusion, and we can recur this from the graveyard with the fusion because that does recur from the graveyard, which is very nice, and this is just a constant stream of advantage for us if it doesn't get ashed. We are running 1 Predap Pruning. This is just Premature Burial. Activate it by targeting a Predaplant in your grave, special summon it and equip it. When this card leaves the field, destroy that monster. Simple stuff. Then Honorary Predaplant card, triple super polymerization. Discard a card, fusion summon at spell speed 4 so your opponents can't respond to it and use their stuff as well as your stuff on board. Pretty simple. 1 branded banishment, super poly on a trap that's searchable. Target a Despia or level 8 or higher fusion in your grave. You're most likely to be targeting the level 8 or higher fusion because we are very low on Despias in the grave. Fusion summon level 8 or higher fusion monster from your extra deck by banishing fusion materials list from either field, and you can only activate it once per turn. And lastly, the bane of all Synchro and Xyz decks' existence, Predaplanting. Send 1 Predaplant monster from your deck to your graveyard. That is cost. Place 1 Predator counter on each face-up monster on the field. And if you do, any of those monsters that are level 2 or higher become level 1 as long as they have a Predator counter. If you fusion summon a dark monster while this card's in your graveyard, except during the damage step, you can banish this card from your grave, target a card on the field, and destroy it. Activate this on your Sword Soul opponent's turn when they summon Moye, summon the token. Now they have 2 level 1s. What are they going to do with that? Not much, except maybe make Shaman or Monk. Monk then Shaman. You know how it is. And it does have a very nice grind game effect in grave. So sometimes it is tempting to just dump it off of like branded opening. That is the main deck. I believe that is 40 cards in the main. Now on to the extra deck. We are running double Predaplant Dragostapelia. This puts Predator counters on cards, and all cards with Predator counters on them are negated. So if you combine this with Predaplanting says negate all monsters your opponent controls while Dragostapelia is on board, which is very, very nice. Here is the star of the show, Predaplant Ambu Melodies. or Melodis. I don't know. If this card is fusion summoned, add a Predaplant monster or Predap spell trap from your deck, graveyard, or face up extra deck to your hand. You can target one monster your opponent controls with a Predator counter, or one monster you control, tribute it, and if you do, special summon one Predaplant from your deck. You can only use each effect once per turn. So on Fusion Summon, it's a Rhoda for anything. And on Ignition effect, you are able to either take a monster with a Predator counter and special summon a Predaplant, or just do something else. Very, very powerful stuff. All it needs is 2 Predaplants, so the two pens just work perfectly for this. We are running one Trifin Overtum. It needs 3 dark monsters on the board. It gains attack equal to the total original attack of all other monsters on the field with Predator counters. You can only use each of the following effects of it once per turn. When your opponent special summons a monster from their extra deck while you control this fusion summon monster, quick effect negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that card. And if your opponent controls a monster with a Predator counter on it, you can special this from your grave. Since we're leaning a little bit more deep on the Predaplants, this is an insane card. It lets us do OTKs if we, I don't know, for example, manage to get away with the Predaplanting, and then we get this out on the board. This guy is going to be gigantic because he will even gain attack off of himself, which is very nice. It works very well with the Mantis as well. It's a summon negation, and it just comes back. Very powerful. Now our Super Poly cards. We have a Garua, Wings of Resident Life, Mud Dragon of the Swamp, Starving Venom Fusion Dragon. So those are our 3 just, bland Super Poly targets in the deck. All our other Predaplants are also Super Poly targets, just because, except for this one. But these ones need generic materials other than, fusion and a dark. Then that's going to be it for our Predaplant portion. Now on to our branded portion. We are running a double Albion, 1 to fuse, 1 to send. We are running double Mirror Jade because we will be getting in situations where we're going to have to make more than 1. We are running 1 Masquerade. This is a flex spot. I just want this for time. 1 Albaletnus as a send target because you can banish, and when it's in the grave, you can add a fusion normal spell card, including branded fusion, which is very nice. Also, this deck should be including instant fusion. Instant fusion should be one of the cards in here. Fuck branded in red. This is an instant fusion now. Instant fusion also gets this guy. Completely forgot about that. And 1 Lubellion, because we're always going to be recycling it. Alrighty, that is the extra deck. Now onto our sideboard. This sideboard I have built just for my local metagame, so it might not be good for you. Double Dark Ruler, double Cosmic, 1 Harpies, triple Droll for those pesky rogue decks, 2 Ghost Mourner Moonlit Chill for Rescue Ace, Bestial Magnuma and Druid Worm for graveyard decks, and triple Evenly Matched for our back row decks. Simple side deck, just a bunch of going first or second staples. Mostly going second, to be honest, because this deck does pretty good going first. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you guys still are, please leave a like, follow, and subscribe if you're still watching. If you're interested in this type of content, it really helps me out quite a bit when you do press those buttons. It helps me with the algorithm. And that's enough yapping for me, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye.